It's damn, 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 damn show. Damn, 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 damn show.
Oh, he was born with a poodle's head. Oh, he wished he was dead. What could he do? Everybody said, whose pedigree are you? An eagle's head would be more fetching, or a bull's head more archetypal, or a lion's head and look like Aeon. But a poodle's head? Oh, it's a dog's life with a poodle's head. I wish I had a tail instead. I tried to do something different every week when I performed at the Zap. Sometimes recite poetry or tell a story or perhaps play an instrument. I remember Ian being particularly impressed with the bagpipe chanter. He plays a bagpipe without the bag. For this, I used backing tapes. Ian gave me a Zap Club membership card with a hologram of an eye on it, so I could get into performances cheaper. I started to feel like a minor local celebrity. Talking of which, I met another Tuesday night veteran who became a good friend and who was instrumental in my getting to know Captain Sensible better. One night, I saw a gent with a bushy ginger beard, baseball cap, glasses and a Walkman in his ears mount the stage. He had a strange, persuasive stage presence, mix of authority, with complete laid-back untogetherness. He instantly got the audience's attention. He had a soft, nasal voice, a slight lisp, occasional stutter, but all this added to the effect somehow. He was a real outsider artist, like Wildman Fisher, except less manic, or like Ivor Cutler, except less Scottish. He got us all to produce a humming. Sunrise early in the morning. Oh yes, the Rolf Harris classic, before he got done. He also performed Take the Skinheads Bowling, Take 'em Bowling, Camperman Beethoven, and some of his own songs such as When It Rains the People Get Wet and So Much Crap on the News, The Colour of Fergie's Shoes. Genius. This was Captain Stupid! Yes, indeed. And as Captain Sensible was often attending the Zap, Ian had to introduce them. Stupid, meet Sensible. Sensible, meet Stupid. And they got on. Captain Sensible had him round his place, then in Bath Street, Brighton, to do some recordings, including his song about Nigel Mansell, the racing driver. He was working on a new album, Revolution Now, and so Steve appeared as Captain Stupid delivering a poem called Vosine. Hello, how are you? I'm all right. Ending with the ridicule of the current Cold War paranoia. The Russians might come. They're all right. They use Vosine. Oh, good. Vosine, if you remember, was a weird shampoo, tar-based shampoo for dandruff. I tried it, but didn't work. I got to know Steve and I was jealous he was on Captain's album. I gave him one of my tapes and his response was to record a version of my Blues in the Key of Sid, changing the words to I only want to play with you, Monty. He meant musically, of course. And so it was we became the Stupid Moron Combo. Steve had some songs he would play on a cheap Casio keyboard. He only played the white notes, which produced an interesting mode for improvisation, and I would double up with a second keyboard, backing vocals, and some percussion. Meanwhile, Captain Sensible had seen me doing my stuff at the Zap. I remember one night doing my British Rail song. I liked the performance, but not the lyrics, because I'm a bit of train spotter myself, he said. Sorry, I can't do an impression of the captain. I wouldn't like to try. He was telling his friend Martin Newell about me playing with Steve, and he said, "What, the Monty the moron?" He'd heard of me, of course, because we were both on acid tapes, an alternative psychedelic cassette company back in the 80s. He himself being with the Cleaners from Venus. Captain said me and Steve should come round to Bath Street and record a session. I was very excited. I'm going round to Captain Sensible's house. Wow. And so we did. I arrived first. I met a very young Daisy, Captain's daughter, and his then partner Rachel, and we went upstairs to his room. On the wall he had a large black and white photo of a ship in a raging sea, and also a golden disc of Happy Talk. I found it all a bit overwhelming and babbled a bit. I came out with some intellectual gobbledygook, and Cap said, "What, you're not a public school boy, are you?" No, I was from a comprehensive." "Thank God for that. I can't stand those public school twats," he said. I would also go off into some sort of fugue, a reverie, where I'd kind of talk to myself as if no one else was present. "Monty, you're really weird," he said. Well, there's an endorsement. Steve came round. Of course, he was forbidden to smoke his incessant roll-ups, but we did a good session that with Captain. We did a song called Political Bossa, the chorus of which was, "You'll never get a sensible answer from a politician." Steve was quite a talented satirist, an example being Gale Coast Rock, which he wrote the following year after the great storm of 1987, to the tune of Jailhouse Rock. "Government thinks just what to do. Who's gonna pay where the hurricane blew? Can he privatise an act of God? Wouldn't put nothing past these sods, let's rock." And so on. We also had a fantasy called "Riding Through the Desert, My Camel and I," that we recorded in my room. I think Steve's real apotheosis, though, was his version of Michel Legrand's "Windmills of Your Mind." "Like the tadpoles that you find in the dull cues of your mind." Yes. We started doing gigs together in the Greys, a pub on Southover Street. These were fun, odd occasions, ending up with me giving out all sorts of weird toys and percussion for people to join in. Captain recorded one gig in its entirety. I wonder if he still has it.